back to the Night Radio Show here at Gyroscope Radio. Thank you for tuning in to be heard. Michelle Coates, my family Sharon, Dora, calling to miss you. Been trying to reach you. Daughter, haven't seen you in a long time. Trying to check on you. God bless you. We do welcome back to our second hour of this Might Show. Go to Exodus 17. I want to get right into the scripture, and I'm going to teach more. I've been sharing my personal experiences. We just welcome you to the second hour. This is the type of training you need to listen to and watch over and over, and focus your mind and get yourself ready, because I'm about to break the power of poverty and mental distress over you, and you do not quit. You do not give up. God bless you. My daughter, my spiritual daughter, Miss Pagan, you are the bomb diggity. My daughter would say you are lit, because of your leadership with those teens in the city of Patterson. I'm honored to have you on our show. Looking forward to interviewing you one Tuesday. Okay, here we go. Exodus 17. I'm going to use the Bible right now. I'm going to read a couple of things to you, and I want to show you something. It says in Exodus 17, verse 1 says this: the whole Israelite community, which is another term for church or Israel, set out from the desert of Sin, traveling from Sinai, traveling from place to place as the Lord commanded. So they were traveling. They was moving from place to place. Have you ever felt that you wasn't stable? You ever felt that you can never get established? You ever felt that every time you went someplace and it didn't last long, had to go to another place and to another place? That's all of a part of training for economic development. I don't know where we get this thing. You try it one time, if we use Jesus' name 52 times, if so will it come to pass. We want magic. We don't want character development. We don't want to understand the power of how God raises up someone economically, which includes, of course, kingdom. So watch this. As it was traveling from place to place as the Lord commanded, they camped at Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. Now, this is deep, because we just went through this test. This test was given to us a few days ago when they didn't have any water. And Moses was showed a tree, moringa tree most likely, and took the moringa tree, threw it in the bit of water, and the water became drinkable, and the people drunk, and they went and found 12 springs of alkaline water afterwards. Now, these folks complaining fussed then did not pass the test, so the test came back around in chapter 17, and the test is centered around water. God bless you, Bishop Jose Figueroa, man of God. God bless you, Joseph T. Hutchison Sr. God bless you, Cynthia. God bless you, Miss Nelson. Listen, this is so deep. We're back to the water test. Why am I taking this test again? Because you didn't pass it the first time. You was fussing and complaining. You was mad at God. So this test spent around and came around again. So the people did not find water that was able to be drunk. Now, look what the people do. You think the people will cry out to God? You think they'll go to Moses and Moses, pray with us, let's believe God for a miracle? The people do what church people do. They start to quarrel, they start to complain, and they start to murmur. Now, I want to show you this. Exodus 17. I'm reading this out, the Living Insight Study Bible by Charles Swindoll. So it's really the NIV version, but he paraphrases. So some of the original Hebrew feelings of the text is a little bit weakened, but so I'm going to try to read it in the way that I want you to understand it. But I understand it's the same mindset, but I want you to really understand the thrust of the verse. And there was no water for the people to drink. So they start fussing and complaining like church folk with Moses. And they say, why don't you give us something to drink? Watch this. Give me money for my mortgage payment, Reverend McDuffie. Give me money for my rent. If I don't get no rent, I don't get no mortgage payment, I'm leaving your church. See, that's that same spirit of complaining, because the journey you're taking was not the pathway that you had expected. You thought it was going to be a bed of roses. You thought you were going to go through this life with a bed of ease. And that's not the way God raises up warriors who want to prosper economically. It includes a holistic type of development. We just got a breakthrough down by the Hudson River. I'm just going to use the name 37. But getting to that 37 was a struggle. It was a fight. It was 4 or 5 months of mental anguish, struggle. Things I thought would come to pass didn't come to pass the same way. I was trying to make ends meet, couldn't make ends meet. It was when I came to the end of myself, God stepped in and blessed me. But I had to channel my complaints, and don't let that be my continual conversation to God, but give him thanks and praise as he brought me through my temptation to quarrel and to complain. But verse 3 says, But the people were thirsty for water. Well, Moses said, why are you complaining with me? Why do you put the Lord to test? Why are you tempting the Lord? If the Lord allowed you to deal with this, that means he must going to use it for his greater glory. Why are you complaining, fussing? All right, so you don't have the water when you want. All right, you don't have what you want when you want it. But in the meantime, do you complain and fuss, or do you say to yourself, God may have something greater in mind for me? Maybe my life story is going to be a little bit different because I had to wait longer than everybody else. I thought about something in the Bible where Jacob thought his son Joseph was dead for 20 years. I thought it was kind of tricky of God to allow him to believe that his son was dead for 20 years and come to find out his son was the prime minister of Egypt. But he didn't come to know that till 20 years. I said, God, it's kind of mean. It's kind of mean to psych me out for 20 years. But apparently, God had a greater plan for Jacob. And somewhere in the next life, I believe Jacob is rewarded for hanging out with God, though he was very unsure of the existence of his son. So it's deep to see how God can allow certain things to come to certain people because he knows the people he allow it to have the capacity and the toughness to take it, because that's what makes powerful people. That's what makes powerful kings and queens who are able to survive hell itself and come through heaven. Here we go. Verse 3. But the people were thirsty for water there, and they complained against Pastor McDuffie. I'm sorry. They complained against Moses. They said, why did you bring us up out of Egypt and make us and our children livestock to die of thirst? So now they're saying Moses is the responsible one for killing them. All right. This is Moses' fault. You know, what kind of leader are you? Now, notice how the folks don't complain when the miracles start falling, when the Red Sea is splitting, and God is shutting down the economic system, and God's giving the silver and gold, and see the Red Sea splitting. See, when the miracles are happening, you are the bomb diggity. Listen to me, leaders and people over your corporations. When you are blessing people, you are number one. But when a rough season comes and when the road get kind of twisted, it is the friends that stick with you that makes the difference. Those are the folks you find out who are the supporters and not just the welfare supporters. Because there's some folk who are just there for the bread and for the fish and for the honey. But there's someone there that's for a commitment to friendship and commitment to see it through. Those are the people you want to give what I call face-to-face relationship with. Okay? Moses is in a tizzy because he is the one that God told, you're going to bring this people out of Egypt and take them into Canaan so that they'll be able to own their own corporation, their own land, and their own business. But right now, it'll look like they're going to own nothing. We don't have no water. Church folks complaining. No one's coming to church. The tithes and offerings are down. We don't have our own building. Where is God at? What happened when the anointing used to fall? We fell on the floor and cried. Where all that at? I feel I'm talking to some of you pastors who've had seasons of hot times, of revival, and the Spirit of God has fallen, and you went into a lull for a few years and wondered, did God leave you? No, God has not left you. He is just allowing you to be tested. He's allowing you to be tried so that you can see the level of your faith. Not that God is struggling to know the truth. He wants you to know exactly where your level of faith is. And I realized that at 53 years young, I'm a little bit deeper since 33. I know some more things at 53 versus 33. And through my years of experience, I got a few gray hairs there. Through my years of experience, I've learned that there's some things I'm more patient with at 53 than I was 33. All right? But sometimes it takes experience. It takes going through something to prepare you for greater. Watch this. Verse 4, which is the sign of a true leader. Then Moses cried out to the Lord, what am I to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me. Isn't that funny how church folk are up and down? Listen, y'all, I'm warning you pastors. I'm warning you apostles and you prophets. Enjoy your good season with people, because there will come a time when them same folk will threaten to stone you. They will want to kill you because you did not do what you want them to do. You didn't pay their rent. You didn't pay their mortgage. All right, you ain't go see their kid in the hospital, and these same folk will roast you alive at their kitchen table. I'm telling you. I don't care how many times you prophesied and called the dead to life. I'm telling you, man. You bet. And let me tell you something. And when God delivers these people and God brings them out, let me tell you something. Sometimes they never come back to say thank you. Sometimes they never come back to say you really helped me. I got folk, I can tell you 10, 15, 20 years of helping. And they get into one argument with someone in the local church and leave and will never come back and go down the street and give their money to somebody else. It really makes me laugh. But as I learn economic development and wealth of the mind, forgive, let go, and don't hold bitterness. Let it go and ask God to bless those. Because if you hold bitterness, then they control you psychologically. Forgive, let go, stay professional, keep speaking, and keep it moving. God bless you, my brother Terry. Stand strong to the word, Pastor. God bless you, man of God. Terry is a tremendous realtor. If you want a piece of property, you want a house or a home, reach me. I'll send you to brother Terry because Terry can get it done. Okay? As an advertiser for you, brother Terry. Love you, man. So he cried out and said, God, why you give me these people? These folk about to stone me. Look what God gives them in verse 5. And I want to show you something about how God will give you instructions after intense conversations. So sometimes when trouble comes, it is purposely allowed to come towards you because it forces you to talk to God. Because if you didn't need him, you wouldn't talk to him. So God knows what he got to do to make you talk to him. And trust me, in the last 90 days, I think I talked to God so much. I think God said, Mike, I heard you. We're going to get you a place. We're going to help you out, son. It's almost like intense conversation brought forth direction. Verse 5 said this, the Lord answered Moses. Now look at the specific instruction he gives. The Lord answered Moses, walk on ahead of the people. Take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. And I will stand there before you by the rock of Horeb. Strike the rock, and the water will come out of the rock for the people to drink. So Moses did exactly what was asked of him in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the place Massah or Meribah, because the Israelites complained and murmured there because they tempted the Lord by saying, is the Lord really among us or not? Is God for us or against us? Does God really want us to win, or God trying to make us lose? See, and that's our mindset too. Because we've reached a tough time, we think God is not for us. He is for us. But he has instructions. He got words that he would give us to specifically do so that he can fulfill the kingdom through us and upon us. Now, what I like about verse 8 is so deep because it says he performed that in front of the elders in the leadership. Okay? Amen, Pastor. Forgive, let go, love you, Pastor. God bless you, Brother Terry. God bless you, Bishop. He said, go before the people, grab some of your elders, right? Take the rod that you struck the Nile River with, and take that same rod, that same staff, and strike the rock. And I want you to watch this, watch the church folk. Watch the church folk. The church folk always turn everything into prayer. He don't tell them to pray. He don't tell them to sing a praise song. He don't tell them to sing a doxology. He don't tell them to start speaking in tongues. He gives them specific instructions. Go before the people. Take some of your elders, which is spiritual leaders who assist you. Take the rod and the staff that's in your hand. Walk up to that rock and strike it. Hit it. Swing at it. Bang it. Put some violence to it. Put some pressure on it. I'm making it plain for some of y'all. All right? And there have been some church folk. Yeah. God said, that's not what I told you to do. Don't do the stuff I told you not to do. That's not what I told you to do. Go to the rock and strike the rock. Specifically, strike it. So when he strikes the rock, the water comes out the rock and feeds the people. Now, I'm going to show you something. This is real deep, and don't miss this. The only thing the people had in their mind was their thirst need to be quenched. But what was on God's mind is the rock represents Christ Jesus. So we can have our mind only on one thing, and God got his mind on something totally different. See, I'm saying to myself, let's say I'm trying to find a new place to live or stay, right? That's my only focus, if that was my case, which is not. Just use as an example, okay? So when I find that place, oh, thank God you found me a place to live. But in God's mind was that neighborhood was waiting for you to come. Because you're going to meet this person, going to meet this person, meet that person, and you're going to touch some child, you're going to touch some mother. So it becomes always bigger than what you immediately look forward to. Even when God create relationship with certain people, we may have one thing in mind, and God got something totally different in mind. So you got to always be open to different levels of relationship. All right. And sometimes we get mixed up. Sometimes we fall short. Sometimes we don't always see the full picture. But the key thing is understand that God knows how to connect the dots and how God brings things together so things can connect together for a greater purpose. And that's why a lot of times when I'm in certain stores, I went to, I'm still in Exodus 17. I went to a Staples store, and I was buying some things from Staples. And it was a Hispanic older woman that was holding a conversation with me that I didn't really want to hold. Now, I want to try to do this because my mind is on, I'm trying to get back to my van. I want to lay my head back while I wait for the person to finish doing their business. I'm a little tired. And, and she holds a conversation. Well, how's your family? How's your wife? How's your child? What do you do with your life? Boy, how old are you? Boy, you look pretty young. How are you, 35, 36? I said, I'm doing this. I said, well, I'm a little older than that. I'm steady trying to cut the conversation. At the same time, no one gets in the line behind me. So I'm holding this long 15-minute conversation at the cash register. And in the back of my brain, I said, ain't no other customers coming? There ain't no customers in the store. It seemed like God held up all the customers so that she can talk to me for about 15 minutes because somehow she felt she was witnessing to me, right? I feel like she was trying to lead me to the Lord right now. So God said, don't burst a bubble until you pass McDuffie. You just shut up and listen to her because she wants to feel she's witnessing. So allow her to get out what she's trying to say. So I sat there and allowed her to talk to me for 15 minutes because it wasn't about me. It was about her. So I said, okay, this is a swallow into my pride. Stay humble because she wants to get out what she feels. Get it out. And I gave her about 20 minutes. And finally, a customer came, and that was my escape route. All right, so I got ready to say, okay, woo. I said, that's over with. Come to find out, when the night was over, I had to get back in that same line to buy something else. So she held another conversation, and she finally got to a point. She said, I would like to invite you to my church. I said, girl, where your church at? She wrote down her church. I said, no, well, I'm going to come visit you, and thank you. Please come. Please, I'll come. Never told I was past McDuffie. Never told I went to church. And I did none of that. I allow her to touch me, to encourage me. And that's all a part of looking at things from a different perspective. And sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it's not just about your money. It's not about just what you want to have. It's a bigger picture at hand. There's larger relationships. But God's people during this time was only limited on, where my daggone water? I want my water now. But guys, I'm not interested in just water. I'm forming slaves into kings. I'm not just interested in water. I'm forming you from a slave mentality to an economic leadership. I'm getting you ready to have a fight. Now, they don't know in the next few verses, they're about to have their first fight. This is so deep. Oh, my God. Is it possible that since they left the land of Egypt, headed for Canaan, before they get to ownership, they got to fight in chapter 17. Could it be that all of this stuff was preparation before the fight? You don't own until you fight. Listen to me. Those who looking for new apartments, new houses, new homes, trying to get a loan for a car, trust me, you got to fight with your credit. You got to fight with finance. There is a fight you got to have that says, I refuse to remain a slave to a system. And some of us, listen to me, Brother Terry, and listen to me, those watching, we have to fight against the American dream, which is a nightmare. And so you went to school and went to college because someone told you to go get your degree to get a job. But most of the time, I mean, people say go to a training program to learn how to open up and own your own, to empower your own family. So we got to fight against systems, fight against what people been telling you for years. Oh, my God. When I tell people, I want to live in more than one place. I want to live in 5 different places. I don't want to own just one company. I want to own 10. Well, Pastor Mike, I don't know. I don't know many black people. Well, I say keep that stuff to yourself. You talk to someone else. Go someplace. And I give you limited listening space, because if you can't dream with me, I cannot become intimately connected to you, because all you're going to give me are your nightmares. But if you can dream with me, I can see the impossible. I can believe for the biggest, because I do understand one thing. Whenever there's a downsizing to a company and they start losing assets, hear me closely, the first thing they get rid of are the employees they don't need. And most of them are people who are not of their own skin color. I'm telling you right now. And sometimes, and it's another meaning for the word racism, and please watch me. Whoever controls the power of the economic dollar, whoever controls the power of hiring, whoever controls the power of the wealth of our nation, those are the individuals that can only really commit racism. Because if I am a racist, I don't have any employees. So I think I got 1 or 2 maybe. And so if I say I'm a racist and I just get rid of my employees, I only affected 2 people. But if you are someone that's of a different skin color, a different ethnicity, and you control close to 80% of the world's wealth, and you decide to say, I'm not hiring any more black people, and all your black folks are laid off, and you keep all your white people and all your Asians and all your Hispanics, that's a form of racism. So if that's the mindset of some of those in our country, I didn't say all, some, what is our plan B? You better have a plan of action of some economic plan so you can empower your own self. This is why I believe that black men, and I'm not saying only black men, but I'm saying especially the black men, must have some trade, some type of marketable skill, some type of thinking that says, if I lose this job, if they get rid of me, I got a skill set to go make one myself. And I got a skill set that will make someone say, McDuffie, we still need you. My skill set is so sharp that if I got laid off from the school system, I can go work at this private school. I can work at this charter school. I can offer my skills in many different places. So I never was scared when I was laid off. Matter of fact, a few years ago, I was laid off, and someone hired me at a company and paid me $40,000 a year. And I only had to work only 6 months out the year. All right? Now, that was a plan that guy hired me through a company through Camden. That popped up, and I was laid off, and I didn't worry, because I seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and my marketable skill session allowed them to say, I need you, McDuffie. Today, I get offers from Newark, I get offers from South Jersey, I get offers from people to leave Patterson to come work with them, because I know what I bring to the table, and I'm confident what I bring to the table. I don't have to be stuck up. I don't have to be arrogant. I just know I got a certain skill set that I do it the way Pastor McDuffie do it. I'm like, listen, Frank Sinatra, the only one said I did it my way. There's a way that God has given you your own fingerprint way to be you. And that thing can bring marketable economic strength to your pocket if you know how to work it. But you can't be afraid to fight. You got to fight. You got to fight against that normal mentality. All I got is a 9-to-5 job, 73 job. I'm working for the man. I got to do what the man says. I don't mind giving you 9 to 5. But let me tell you something. When I get off from work, I'm going to go eat for an hour. I'm going to go to sleep for an hour, and I'm getting up, and I'm sitting down. I'm going to write my own plan, own my own company. I'm working my own Canaan vision. I'm not living off of Egypt. I'm going to Canaan. Canaan, a place of ownership, place of companies, place of economic development, creating conglomerates so I can tap into different resources. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I want to be good in computers. I want to be good at building computers. I want to be good at selling computers. I want to be good at reforming computers. I want to be able to not only shoot basketball, how to make basketball, how to own basketball. I don't want to just be into just cutting hair. I want to own the blades that cut the hair. See, you got to always think deeper. Economic development is so key. Oh, sorry, I said ECA. What the heck is ECA? Is that ECA? All right, economic development is to be able to distribute goods and services for a price, and able to create enough of wealth to empower you and your family and your future seed. And get it so well, you got perpetual wealth for 3 and 4 generations. We need kingdom development. We need economic development. And you can't get it unless you're willing to be trained. And you have to know how to fight. Now, let me just give you a few things. All right? We've been dealing with water. And now we're dealing with disappointment. Because the folks were fussing at Moses because the unfolding of the journey was not very comfortable. I did not expect, after being in ministry for over 30-something years, I'd still be struggling in my life in a sense. I've been blessed a lot, but I've not gotten to a point where I can go where I want to go, buy what I want to buy, and be what I want to be with just saying, okay, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there, okay? And I'll sacrifice this generation for my future generation. All right? But that's what my mindset. God refused to be another McDuffie that's going to just make it through. They're going to write a book about me and say, do you remember McDuffie, that black guy with the braids in his hair? Remember that guy, man? We thought he was crazy. You know what? He died and left $1 billion to his family. Oh, my God. They're going to write books. They're going to have someone doing my show, just like they did for Tupac. They do it for Pastor Mike. But I'm not getting assassinated. You ain't going to shoot me. You ain't going to kill me. I'm telling you right now, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I'm only going to die when I'm finished. That's what I'm professing. But I'm teaching you something that if you don't think that way, if you don't talk that way, then the enemy can punk you, it can bully you, and make you feel that you're insignificant. And you are not insignificant. Those watching me here at Gyroscope, those watching me Mike Live, Terry, and Linda, success is not an accident. It is a choice. God bless you, Linda. Miss Nelson, you are successful because you are a woman of destiny. I prophesy to you. Ah, my God. Don't allow people to think that you can't make it, because you can make it, because God called you to make it. You are successful because you got the power inside you, but you got to be willing to fight. And fight means fight mentally. Yes, toughen your spirit, toughen your mind. Get in the mirror and look at yourself. Look at your mirror like this. So you got to look. Look at my lips. See that look? See that look? See that look? My studio is laughing. Folks, my studio laughing. See that look? And some of y'all, I'm focused. I'm going to win this fight. It's called the fight of faith. It's the good fight of faith. That means I won't let go. I will not be moved. Standing, believing, not being moved. I'm like a tree planted by the rivers of water. I'm holding on till I walk in my promised land. And the promised land is your destiny. It's your calling. It's your freedom and economic. And I am so firmly fixed on that fashion. I refuse to believe, God bless you, Cynthia's laughing. I refuse to believe that we cannot accomplish these things in our cities. Now, when I travel all over these cities, I've been walking into Weehawken and Edgewater and Fort Lee and walk down these streets where folks are drinking coffee and drinking 7-Up and walking up and down the street happy and holding hands and jogging and riding on bikes, and get to my city, folk look stressed out, garbage all in the street. I said, God, what's wrong with us? Oh, we wait for Jesus to come to fix it. That mentality is killing us. He already came. Jesus came through us. He came in the day of Pentecost. He came to restore the kingdom in 70 AD. And the kingdom is here now. Get busy and advance the kingdom. Get ready to fight. Go back to Exodus 17. After the water test, folks were still complaining. God gave Moses directions and instructions. Moses obeyed, and the people got the water. Now, did they pass the test or not? No, they did not, because they failed the test, because they complained and fussed. How do you know when you pass the test? When tough times come and you don't complain. That's how you know. That's deep. I didn't say you didn't talk about it. I said not complaining and fussing. That's the difference, all right? My daughter did not want to go with me today. She wanted to stay home because she was feeling a little bit up and down. And I didn't feel like I wanted to leave her home. So I made her go, right? And she went to complain. And I said, I don't care. Put your clothes on. Let's go. You're going with me. You'll be okay in about an hour because I gave you a special tea, and you're going to be okay. In about 45 minutes, she was okay. She was to herself. She was cool. But she would have missed her blessing if I had given in to her complaints. So complaining is okay to a degree. But a strong leader has the ability to take the complaint and say, we're still moving forward towards Canaan, and we're going forward. Most folks don't understand that when Harriet Tubman was leaving out of slavery, there were people that were so addicted to slavery, they was trying to go back. And Harriet took out a gun and say, either you go with me or I'm going to shoot you between the eyeballs. Now, that's Michael McDuffie translation. But I'm letting you know how deep it is. She was so determined to make her goal so focused that she refused to let someone try to mess it up. Because if a runaway slave go back, they're going to make that runaway slave tell the slave owner where these slaves are running through. He had an underground railroad. She had a secret passage how to get away from people running to the north. Watch this, running towards Patterson, because that was part of one of the safe houses where they went to get away from the slave owners. And from Patterson upward towards what's the other place? Not Florida. Florida was one too, though. Canada, going up north. But I'm trying to show you, these called safe houses, okay? But she was determined to fight. You cannot build economic strength if you're not willing to fight. And you got to be willing to give all to gain all. You have to be willing to lose all to gain all. So I've stepped out there. I've pushed the thing to the edge. I took a faith risk. I see why folk are addicted to gambling, because when you gamble, it's a possibility you'll lose all, but when you gamble, you might win all. That's why folks are addicted to Atlantic City and Las Vegas, because there's something in man that wants to take a risk. God is preparing the Israelites to take a risk, because this risk is going to propel them into Canaan. Look at chapter 17, verse 8. And I want you to hear me in these next few minutes. And don't miss this, Brother Terry and Sister Cynthia. I'm going to read to you verse 8. And this is very deep. And don't miss this, because I heard Pastor Jason Moody teach this, and I thought this was real powerful. Go through transition with an optimistic attitude. You got that right. I like that, Linda Jones. That's powerful, woman of God. The Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Rephidim. I forgot how you say it. Rephidim. Rephidim. Now, this is the same place, listen, where they came and there was no water. Now, I want you to watch. This is deep. This is real deep. This is just like what God would do. It's kind of some of the things I don't like about God, because the negativity or the enemy always seems to attack you in your weakest moment. He don't come at you when you full strength. He comes at you in your weak moments. And the amazing thing was that the Amalekites came and attacked Israel at Rephidim. I said to myself, well, is this the place where there was no water? So the devil attacked them at a spot where they did not have enough moisture and enough hydration. So due to the lack of moisture, they was not able, all right, to fight. The lack of moisture caused dryness. Now, watch how deep this is. And God allows this. Now, let me give you a little bit of history about the Amalekites. The Amalekites are terrorists. They're not interested in just killing you. They want you to die slowly. They want to expose your killing to other forces and other nations to show how vicious they are. They remind me of the 9/11 murderers. They remind me of people who blow folk up in restaurants and kill themselves. They have no compassion other than their own agenda. And so they attack Israel at Rephidim. Now watch this. I want you to hear me and watch me closely. And I'm dealing with economic development. So far, folks were complaining. They feel like they're having no drinking water. They're disappointed with leadership, right? They don't like God's plan of action. They want God to bring them out of trouble now. And in the midst of them drinking this water, all of a sudden, these daggone Amalekites, they show up. I'm like, saying, boy, you couldn't find another place for this to happen. It shows up at this weak moment. God bless you, Pastor Elder Frazier, woman of God, most powerful preacher woman you ever want to meet in your life. You need a preacher, you need to tap into Elder Angel Frazier. This woman is a dynamic preacher. Fool! God bless you. Praying for you. I know what season this is for your life, and I pray that God continue to keep you and your family. In verse 8, the Amalekites came and attacked Israel at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, look at me. Moses said to Joshua, he don't say it to Aaron. That's his older brother. That's the assistant pastor. He found the warrior. He found Joshua, which I believe Joshua at this point, I think represents an up-and-coming son of the ministry. So he found someone that is a general and that can fight. Moses said to Joshua, look what he says, and hear me closely, you economic leaders. Choose some of our men, not all of them. Don't confuse some with all. Listen to me. That's my beautiful sister-in-law, Sandy McDuffie. Love her so much. God bless you and your whole family. I love Sandy. I love the miracles that's happening in your family to her, and, of course, my brother Derek. He says, choose some of them. Not all, some. Go out to fight the Amalekites. Now, let me just stop there for a few minutes. And when I read some of this stuff, I have to take my time because sometimes church folks confuse everybody with somebody. And sometimes when we're on a journey to economic development, we think we're supposed to get everybody. But I realized after doing this for about close to 35 years, I'm tired of chasing crowds. As a matter of fact, I learned I do more with less than most. So usually when I'm about to do something great, God just gets rid of everybody. He just scatters everybody. And he leaves me a handful. He said, you got just enough to get this moving. That's 12. That's good. He said, okay, you got 40. That's good enough. Go. That's what he does. So when Pastor Moses talks to his up-and-coming minister Joshua, he said, go find some men. Now I got to put myself in Joshua's position. How does Joshua choose from men some? Because there's something in Joshua that allows him to discern who's a man that can fight and who's a man that can't fight. And I realized in years of economic development and when you're trying to build a dream or a vision, you cannot go after everybody. And you can't tell everything to everybody. There are some secrets you have to keep to yourself because some folks cannot handle the face of where you're going. I'm telling you right now. And I ask God to send me people I can tell things to. And I also ask God to give me wisdom who not to tell nothing to nobody. And you got to know the difference because I understand what certain folks' level of faith is. If you tell them too much, it takes the breath out of them. They just can't take it. It's just too much for them. They say, oh, God, I've never done that. I said, because God didn't tell you to do it. It was like, what that got to do with me? Yeah. Well, Pastor Mike, we tried that years ago. I said, very important pronoun in that verse. Yes, we. That's y'all. That's not me. So we tend to sometimes take our own personal limitations and personal failures and project them on other people. When God didn't tell you to do that, you did it on your own. But when the person is doing what God called them to do, I need someone who can speak life to me to say, you can do it. You can make it. Something will come through. You will learn from this. You're unraveling this. You're going to learn from this. And so those are the folks you want around you. I didn't say yes, man. I didn't say they'll always tell you yes because I got people who criticize and encourage and cut and fuss and battle. But I understand at the end of the day, you're going to forge ahead and you're not going to get off your course. And that's the type of friendship you need in this hour. Joshua was able to discern what men would fight with him. And Moses delegated to Joshua the people on his team to fight with him. I'm going to give you an economic development strategy. Before you tell all the details about your business plan to your friends, try to discern who will fight with you in the pit. Try to find out the folk that are with you in the good and bad seasons versus only those who with you when you're on your way up. I've learned a lot in the last 6 months of my life of individuals who stick with Pastor Mike and my family through thick and thin. I am completely overwhelmed by some of the relationships they have forged from this. And I'm not just saying because you hang out with me lately. Because there's some folk I don't even see no more, but I know they're on my side by phone, by email, by Facebook, by sowing seed, and I just a sense of connectivity. But I also am smart enough to discern individuals who left because things got rough, things didn't happen as fast. You accused the pastor of stealing money. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't hear from God, and you went and told someone else and said, don't tell nobody. And they went and told somebody. Don't tell nobody. They went and told somebody. And it creates that circle of Pastor Mike as a nut. And I understand that, and I pray God's blessing on you. But I do know when the pendulum, when the things swing back in the other direction, and you start going up the scale and watching God move, these same folks spin around and come back around because they don't want the responsibility of sticking with you in tough times. I saw a clip on Facebook the other day I thought was so great, that Jonathan was really a true friend to David, because by biblical law, Jonathan should have been the next king. But God overlooked Jonathan and gave it to David. But check this out. David still honored Jonathan, and Jonathan honored David. Jonathan was able to leave his royal seat and go out and stick with David, even though Jonathan's father was trying to murder David. But Jonathan was able to turn down his good seat, his royal seat, to hang out with David as he was a fugitive. I've learned through KOM and Mighty Sons of God Fellowship Church that there were people that stuck with me in my fugitive season, who stuck with me through thick and thin. And these would be the first people that I'll be calling and saying, I want to bless you so bad, so good, because you was with me in my weak times. You was with me when my sin was exposed. You was with me when I didn't cross every T and dot every I. You was with me. You lifted me up. You protected me against the wolves and those who tried to kill my character. You was with me. And I don't forget those. And guess what? And I don't tell everybody what I'm doing. I just keep it behind my head. I say, this girl really helped me out. This son helped me out. This boy was good to me. This guy. And there have been people who are not all black who helped me. There were some whites and some Jewish people. And there were some women, older women. And there were some older men. And there were some pastors and some leaders who helped me. Who was a whole lot of people who said, McDuffie, I can't roll with you, but I do see you from a distance, and I'm praying for you. And I understand those folks also. But I love this story here because Joshua picked out the right people to help him fight. Now, here we go. This is deep. Because Moses does something which is quite powerful. Moses says to Joshua, Exodus 17, verse 9, hang with me. Hey, Jose Morales, one of my faithful Facebook friends. He's one of my original friends. He's my first Facebook friend. God bless you, Jose Morales. He says, pick out men to go out to fight these terrorists, the Amalekites. Tomorrow, Moses says, I will stand on top of a mountain with the staff of God in my hands. All right? Now, this is real deep. I want y'all to catch this. To every leader of a vision, there comes a time you have to delegate, and then you have to go up a little bit higher. I'm going to say it again. To every leader, there comes a time you have to delegate and then go up a little bit higher. If you don't delegate, you will stay lower. So when you release people into various ministries and delegate responsibility, all God is doing is get ready to promote you. But because in our churches and some of our pastoral circles, we think so small, we don't think about raising up other pastors and other leaders and other apostles and other bishops and other evangelists and other teachers and other grand poobahs. I'm sorry, that's Fred Flintstone. And who can take your place so you can focus on something greater. Moses says, Joshua, pick out some men that will fight the Amalekites. I will go up on a mountain and I'm going to do something. I will stand on the top of the mountain with the staff of God in my hands. Verse 10. So Joshua had a fight with the Amalekites as Moses had ordered. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Now watch how deep this is, and don't miss this. This is real deep. Notice how many went to the top. Moses, Aaron, and Hur. How many? 3. 3 is the number of first team unity. As we create a team, you need 3 to create. Now 2 is a couple. 3 is a team. That's the first 3. It stands for the Godhead, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. It stands for 3 in 1. All right, earth, heaven, hell, up, down, middle, 3, 3, 3. Spirit, soul, body, 3, okay? Watch this. So I take Moses, who is the head pastor. I take Aaron, the assistant, and I take her, H-U-R, her. And these 3 will go to the top of the mountain, create a 3-fold cord. It's not easily broken. That's why to every business strategy, you need 3 people. Please write this down. Write this down. This is some good economic stuff. Thank you, Linda. She said, teach, Sean. Teach. Listen, you need 3 people. The leader, the assistant leader, and the secretary and treasurer. I'm telling you, you need a leader, assistant leader, and I call a secretary treasurer. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. It's like the triangle. 3. That 3 will determine how every fight is performed. That's why the leader of every corporation got to spend a little bit of time and choose 2 people with you that's willing to follow you. Don't pick someone, and then this is deep, who all of a sudden they got a vision to do the same time you're doing yours. Don't stay away from people like that. You got a vision. I got one too. I mean, that's not the one you want to be with. Let them go do something else. You got to find someone that says, not my season, I have my own right now. I want to help support you. My time will come. Let me help you get moving. That's what you want. You need someone that will put in at least 3 years. Listen to me closely. You need someone who will sacrifice and work with you for at least 3 years. Because Jesus spent 3.5 years in the public gospel after he went through preparation with 30 years of preparation. But 3.5 years was the output of his ministry vision. So I use as a good number 3 years. Give me 3 years to work with me as I establish my nonprofit, because as I establish my nonprofit or my for-profit on top of the mountain, I can create the larger team down below in the valley. I'll show this to you. I got less than 10 minutes. All right? Okay, here we go. Yeah. Verse 10. So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the mountain. As long as Pastor Moses held up his hands, the Israelites kept whipping behind. That's Micah Duffy translation. They were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites or the terrorists were winning the fight. So it seems that as long as my hands are up, I'm winning. When my hands come down, I'm losing. Now watch how deep this is. And he had the rod in his hand. So it's most likely he had the rod like this. So when he holds his hand up like this, Israel is whipping butt, kicking butt. All right? But when his hands get tired, it comes down. That is a spiritual law. As long as my spiritual authority is high and lifted, I win spiritually. When my rod, my spiritual authority drops, I start to lose in the valley. And that's part of why spiritual renewal and your connectivity to Christ is important, because that allows you to have the spiritual authority to deal with the Amalekite spirit, which is a spirit that wants to terrorize you, make you afraid, come against you mentally, challenge you psychologically. But you got to make sure who's holding up your arms, who's holding up your hands. And that should be your circle. That should be your encouragement. That should be where you go to get your rest. That should be where you go and work out. Something got to lift up your hands to keep you winning. Once your hands fall, you are defeated. Hey, Reverend Marcus, my spiritual son, God bless you, man of God. I believe in this hour that God sends you people that will hold up your hands. Part of what Reverend Marcus does, hold my hand up, because as my hand stays up, the victory is won. That's why any true leader of an organization or a nonprofit need 2 people who believe in you, who will hold your hands up and say, yes, believe in you. They will believe in you. That will believe in you. That will believe in you. You'll be able to say, oh my God, I'm weak, I'm tired. And your support system say, nah, just take a little rest. We come back at you. Let's go. Let's do it again. Come on, let's try it again. Let's go at it again. Let's go. You need 2 people to hold your hands up, because it seems to be when your hands are lifted up, which can also represent intercessory prayer, talking to God, spiritual authority. When your hands are lifted up, the battle is won. But when the hands are tired and let down, the enemy starts to win. Now look what happened. This is so deep. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under Moses, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side and one on the other side, so that his hands remained steady till sunset. Now this is deep. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. Now that stuff right there is ridiculous. I'm going to show you this, and this is real deep. And listen to me and watch me closely. We deal with economic development. When Moses started to fight out, I believe that Aaron and Hur was standing with him, and Moses did it by himself. He had his rod in his hand. Every time he got tired, I believe, this is my imagination now, that Hur and Aaron was looking at him. Watch his arms go down. They said, "Ooh, boy, he getting tired. Huh? He look real tired." Moses, get them hands up, Moses. They winning. Well, they losing. Get your hands up. Now, according to the biblical text, they fought probably close to 9 to 10 hours. So and I've been in church serving folks that stretch your hands out. They're praying for Sister Ann. You stretch your hands out. And folk pray them long prayers. You know, your hands start getting tired, right? And then you put your hand up like this, get your hand tired. And after a while you get tired, you be like this, right? And after a while you be like this. Oh, God, how long this prayer going to be, all right? That's just like human nature. Your arms can only hold up but so long. So Moses got tired. So they figured out a plan. Let's sit Moses behind on a rock, which is Christ Jesus, which stands for foundation. It also represents being seated in heavenly places. Take your rest in Christ. Sit down. I'm going to get on both sides and then lift his hands up and held them up, which probably over 10 hours. And Joshua was able to win the fight against the Amalekites, which means the leadership and the training of the leadership team determines how people win in life. So if the leadership is weak, if there's no proper training, there's a lack of equipping, and we get in religion versus kingdom, we get in tradition versus kingdom, we get in Christianity versus what I call apostolic sons of God ministry, then the people start to lose. Joshua's war was won because Moses was up top with his arms lifted up. So what's wrong with our church and our communities? Here it is. Our churches have leaders whose arms have gotten tired. They don't even have God's staff in their hand. They have their own staff, and they're tired, and they don't have the leadership to lift up their hands. And this is one of the things I have to emphasize over and over. Your leadership team, the church you attend, whoever trains you and coaches you will be the key to how you develop an economic strategy. This is why when I'm about to build a new foundation or launch a new ministry, about to sell a book or create a business strategy, I find other people who already were successful. They become part of that team that lift up my hands and my arms. I don't just use my cell phone for texting and downloading an application. I use my cell phone to study Google, to Google information, to go learn about maps. I study different historical pieces. I study the success of Walt Disney. I look at how Bill Gates became a billionaire. I study wealthy patterns because that is able to empower me in my thinking process. You have to understand the kingdom is going to advance. Either you're going to be a part of it or be left behind. I refuse to. In this story here is a successful story of how Joshua won the battle because his leadership training team, Moses, Aaron, and Hur, was up top on the mountain, on top of the mountain, on top of the mountain, standing in intercessory prayer, praying for Joshua as he fought the battle in the valley. How many of our people in our community are dying because of lack of leadership? We don't have trainers. We don't have trainees. Now, I want to begin to close with a few things in my closing points that I did not mention, but I want to close with some of the things that I think is powerful to even mention. Okay? Your first fight, dealing with failure, okay? Complaining, church folk leadership, disappointment, all right? And when God begins to communicate with you through various ways, you have to be patient. It does not always come in the form of a voice, but it comes in the form of circumstances. Answers come when God feels you're able to receive the answers. That's deep. That's beautiful. I didn't even write that. Thank you, my student there. I appreciate that. So this is what I give you for part 5 of Kingdom Economics. Now I want to give you some closing announcements. I want to pray a special prayer for those of you who got a business adventure and you want God to give you an idea for a business and you've been sitting on top of it, or you have a business and you want God to give you an intelligent insight to what the next step is as you prepare for success. Okay, I'll close in prayer, but let me just give you this. There is a gyroscope spot available on this station, 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock every Sunday. If there's someone watching me and you want to have your own gyroscope radio TV show from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock, please inbox me, let me know. It can't be anyone from the Mighty Sons of God Fellowship Church because you have church service, okay? But anyone outside of that, I'm willing and I'm open to it, okay? We are advancing. We are opening up AI ministry called Advancing Intelligently. That's down by the Hudson River, by Weehawken. If you're down in that area, you can also inbox me. I'm looking for about 12 committed people. Please let me know. We are also offering my KOM camp, which is called School of Might Leadership Camp. 1 week, I think it's the 3rd week in July and 3rd week in August. $97, 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. Must bring your own lunch, 7 days, 9 to 3. And on Sunday is the graduation. And we use the fundraiser to split costs with you so you can open up your own investment account. And this is going to be a powerful program. I'm looking for limited students, so 8 to 12 years old and 13 to 17 years old. If you're that age, please inbox me. Please email me at michaelmcduffie6350@gmail.com. michaelmcduffie6350@gmail.com. Okay? Now, I gave you that because I want you to understand that this has to be a summer where you're going to do something different. Don't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. I prophesy and I pray for all those watching me live and watching me on the Might Radio Show on Gyroscope Radio Station. I prophesy and pray for you that you will be inspired by the wisdom of God and you will walk in the power of God and that you will prosper in all your business adventures and that whatever's on your heart, that God will give you your 3 or your 2 that will connect to you. And I prophesy and pray that you will be able to have a team that will fight for you. I call in your first 3. I call in your other 9, which makes you 12. I call in your divine 70. I call in your divine 120. And I pray that you begin to grow your ministry and grow your business to it creates an economic stability so you can change nations. I prophesy and pray for you that poverty ends in your life and that unknown resource will come towards your direction. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. God bless you, Patrick Francis. May God continue to bless your book writing skills in Jesus' name. Please go to my GoFund account, GoFundMe, Mike McDuffie, GoFundMe, and look for Mighty Sons of God. Make sure you might sow a seed today. And everything is a tax deductible gift. God bless you. God keep you. Gotta go, McDuffie. Love you.